Music motivates many people, but for Mackenzie Stockton, a senior at White County High School, music was something she was born into.
I've always come from a very musical family. Even when I was little, I remember going to church and singing with my parents. I remember my aunt and my nana, they're like altos and my mom's a soprano, and so they would sing harmony together. My grandpa has always played guitar ever since I was a baby. My mama said I took my first steps to a guitar.
Did well to music. It was like...
Well, she took her first steps when she heard her granddaddy play music at her
For
house.
the first time. She had not walked yet. We were actually kind of worried. I'd even mentioned it to the doctor, and the doctor was like, if you put her down, she'll walk, because there's nothing wrong with her. And so Daddy had come over there, and he walked in with his guitar, and it had sat there for a while, and I think we got done eating, and he sat down on the couch, and he opened it up. She had pulled up over there somewhere, she had the pacifier, but she wouldn't let go. So he took the guitar, and he did one strum, and that head went zeroed right in it, threw the pacifier out of her mouth, and took off walking. So the very first steps she ever took were because of the first time she heard somebody strum a guitar. We're lucky we happened to snap a picture.
And so I've always had a connection to music. I've always loved it. I've always loved to sing. I was the kid that sang really loud in the guitar. I sang in the shower enough to where it like woke my dad up. Like I was always singing. I always used to make up my own songs. Like I'd make up my own words to songs that didn't even make sense. I was like 6 years old, and my grandpa was always like, "She's gonna do something with music. I know she is. She loves it too much not to." So I've always had music in my life ever since I was young.
Mackenzie's first chance to display her talents for music was at the 2021 Happening. But Mackenzie did not originally plan to go to this event.
I was very scared. This is the first big show I've ever played, like bigger than, I guess my family Thanksgiving was like the biggest thing before that I'd ever done. I'd never really played in front of many people, and I got there to audition, and I started to go in, and then I turned around, I looked at my little brother was there with me. He's like my biggest fan. I love my little brother. And I was like, "Well, I'm not doing it." He was like, "No, you're doing it." He's like, "I'm making you do it." And he's like, "If you don't, I'm never speaking to you again." He's like, "You have to go in there and you have to play." He's like, "Because you sound so good." He was like, "I hear you every time in my room because you're right across the hall from me." He's like, "You sound great." And he's like, "Everybody's going to love you." But he was like, "You have to just go out there and be confident in it like Grandpa told you." He's like, "You have to be confident that your music is good." And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it. Now I finally did play in front of everyone after the judges. They just stood up and was like clapping, cheering my name. I was like, I did not think that my music was gonna mean that much to everybody. But if just in that room of like 500 people, I found that many people that it meant something to. I was like, how many more people could it mean something to if I put this out there for people to hear? I think it could really go somewhere. I'm excited to see what it does.
After Mackenzie's success at the Happening, she met up with her cousin, Jack Dylan Grazer, a famous actor for his work in both Luca and Shazam. Together, they went to Blackbird Studios in Nashville, where they performed and recorded Mackenzie's first debut album.
This started a long time ago. Whenever I always knew I was related to Jack. I knew we were cousins, but I never really got to talk to him much. Then, after my grandpa passed away, we really tried to meet up, and because Grandpa always told me, he's like, "You and Jack would get along so well. You get along so well." And so we tried to meet up after that just to be able to spend time with family. And then remember, we both ended up playing guitar and loving music so much. We were like, "Oh, this is so cool! Like you can play!"
Yeah.
And so we started like making songs together. I started writing them, and he'd play guitar with me, and we put these songs together. We just clicked so well. After Grandpa passed away, that was the spark I needed to get back into writing. Because if it hadn't been for playing music with you, I probably wouldn't have got back into playing.
I love you so much. And I probably wouldn't be as motivated to play music if it weren't for Mackenzie.
We just bounce ideas off of each other, and I'll start playing something. He's like, "Oh, this would sound really cool if you do it this way." And then we'll start doing something else, and then we both are like, "Oh, let's add this to it." And it's just so easy to make music together. It doesn't feel forced. It doesn't feel uncomfortable. It's just so much fun. I love making music with Jack. It's so much fun.
Yeah.